think I'm just blessed by the fact that Wolves have released Rob Edwards' first team, well, first press conference-ish kind of thing, his little interview and his first day at the Wolves training ground. I quite enjoyed them videos, mate. I don't know, have you managed to watch them yourself?
Yeah, wasn't it? It's nice to see some positivity again, isn't it?
Turn off. I know it's obviously, it's hit Middlesbrough fans quite hard, and they're still all over social media, aren't they? But I'm confident they'll get a new manager soon, and they might not hide us for too much longer. Yeah, so we've got quite an exciting podcast coming for everyone today. It wasn't really planned to be a podcast. We was going to do a little short video, but we've managed to get a couple of ideas together, and we think we've got enough to be able to film a podcast for you all. So I hope you enjoy. But going back to that, Rob Edwards, our first segment leads nicely to talking about his first interview with the club back as official head coach, the new man in the dugout, and the man to hopefully revitalise Wolves this season and maybe guide us up the table and keep us from the depths of the Championship. He was positive, wasn't he, Liam?
Yeah, he came in with loads of like excitement, which you'd think he needed to come in like that, don't you? He's not had that like negative start to the season, so hopefully that transcribes to the players to give him a bit of a boost.
I mean, according to all the Middlesbrough fans, apparently he's the biggest PR merchant going, so he's obviously had quite a bit of experience. And to be honest, I think he came over really, really well. I enjoyed just his enthusiasm towards the club. And I know all managers tend to say the same sort of things, but I just quite enjoyed the way that he was talking about how he wants the players to react to the situation, and how he wants every single week, he wants the players to go out there and give everything. The bare minimum effort is everything that you've got to play for the badge, which is something that the Wolves fans have been crying out for this season. And, when there's chance of you're not fit to wear the shirt towards the players, that's probably the last thing that they want to hear, which means that the fans can tell that there's not enough effort on the pitch. So, yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was nice to see, rather than the manager saying it's their dream to come into the Premier League, it was nice for him to say it's a dream to come and manage Wolves, which I thought was a nice touch to hear.
I agree. I think we've had foreign managers who've come and just jumped at the chance to be a Premier League manager quite recently, haven't we? No fan wants to hear that you're only getting the style of manager and the type of manager that you're going to get just purely based on the competition that you're within. But it was nice to see Rob Edwards come in and come back, and I think he had a massive smile on his face. I think he kind of gave it away for everyone, didn't he, to realise how much this club does genuinely mean to him, it was a really nice touch.
I think it's important as well because everyone knows how the fans feel about the club at the moment. I think it needs that one person to come in to try and, like you were saying about the players leaving everything when they get past that white line, and to understand that, the fans are in a situation where they're not happy with the club, but as long as they can try and deflect that away from their performance, it might help the team. And I think everything he said was brilliant, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just wanted to see a manager come in and have that kind of enthusiasm. I think obviously the most recent English manager we've had was Gary O'Neill. I think he did have genuine good reasons as to why he obviously came to the club, but this feels a bit different to me. This feels like it genuinely is Rob Edwards' club. He's obviously he's played over 100 games for Wolves, and everybody knows the stats. We ain't got to go over them, but he's come in and he's putting himself on the line. He's coming at the worst point that you could ever come into the Wolves job at the minute. And I think as long as he gets the players to do exactly what he spoke about in his press conference, regardless of what happens at the end of the season, I think as long as we can see a style of football, as long as Wolves can see a game plan, it being used and a positive attitude between the players, I think that the Molineux will get rocking, and I think we're right behind Rob Edwards.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I think that Palace is a massive game in his journey as a Wolves manager, I think.
I mean, don't get me wrong, talking about Palace, we'll obviously do a pre-match preview, but I think obviously we've spoke about it before. Oliver Glasner is an unbelievable manager, but there is also a way that Wolves can exploit Crystal Palace. And there's obviously easier games within the league, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's the worst game that he could come into in his Wolves career, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing how we play against Crystal Palace, to be honest.
I think if you look at the next 5 games that he has in charge, I think the Palace one is the one where you think, right, we've got to get something out of this game. Just stand a chance in those games to build that confidence.
Yeah. I mean, let's be brutally honest. If it's, you know, a big ask, but if none of the other teams around us pick up points in the next game and Wolves pick up 3 points, you're still a fair bit away, but you're only 5 points between yourselves and Forest. And I think is it West Ham or is it Burnley who've dropped into the relegation zone? 5 points is only 2 wins. And you can not start looking up the table, but you can kind of take a bit of positivity out of the fact that it's only 2 wins out of the next 27, I think it is, before the end of the season. So let's hope that, you know, it's a big ask, but let's hope Rob can go and get 3 points, to be honest, against Palace. And that could be the spirit towards the rest of the season. I think that leads us quite nicely on to who Rob Edwards is going to be bringing with him to Wolves now. We've only had one coach confirmed at the moment. Hopefully we'll get some more developments within the week. But we've got 2 names for you. One's definitely confirmed and one is, according to reports, all but confirmed. Shall we go with Paul Trollope first, Liam?
Yeah. Well, when he was in charge of Bristol Rovers, when I had a quick look at him, he got them promoted into League One. So he has had a bit of success as manager. He's worked under Chris Hughton for quite a few roles at Brighton and Forest, Norwich, Birmingham. So he's been around a few teams. I don't think he's had that many high-level jobs, but I think that when I'd look at reports about what fans and stuff are speaking about him, he brings that experienced defensive mindset to the coaching staff. And the way we're defending at the moment, I think we could do with that type of defensive coach to shore us up at the back, because if you're conceding goals, you're never going to win any points in the Premier League.
No, I agree. I quite like the fact that you've mentioned that he's a defensive coach, because obviously we desperately need goals, but we're leaking so many goals. So if we have a new, fresh idea with a different coach and one who, like you said, has got a decent pedigree within terms of English football. He's been a manager himself. He's got promoted with Bristol Rovers. And then he's been an assistant coach under some okay names, should I say, Chris Hughton. But he's had stints at the championship level clubs. I think he's currently the Southampton assistant coach, if I'm right, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah. And if you, like you say, Chris Hughton teams, they was always quite defensively minded, weren't they? So, you know, I don't want to see a Wolves being defensively minded team, but we do need to shore us up at the back, especially at home at the Molineux. We need to stop conceding goals, try and stay in the game, just to get the fans with the players and the players working with the fans.
I agree. I think he's going to be good for us if he obviously does come in. We're talking about we're talking about a coach who at the moment is currently still at Southampton. I believe you said that he's not coming yet because Southampton don't have a manager. He hasn't came in because Southampton are potentially going to be appointing Ekram as their first team manager. Obviously, things could change really quickly with regards to that. And if a new manager does come in, he'll want to bring his own backroom staff, and then that would probably be the point where Wolves would jump at the chance to go and get someone like him in.
He's worked at Liverpool with Rob Edwards before, so they obviously know each other well.
Yeah, I mean that's good. He's got some real decent pedigree of clubs, to be honest, in his background, and I think as long as, like we say, Ekram doesn't get appointed as a Southampton manager in the next few days/weeks, then I think that's someone who's, according to reports, is pretty much almost over the line. Obviously, just kind of waiting on confirmation of that one. Another man who's coming to Wolves, who's going to be the first team assistant, is Harry Watling. Harry Watling was previously with Rob Edwards at Middlesbrough. He brought him in at the start of this season. He's a young assistant manager, in all fairness to him. But again, has quite a bit of a pedigree when it comes to clubs. I've got a couple of little bits and bobs up. He started his career very young. He got his UEFA B licence when he was only 18. He got his UEFA A licence by the age of 26 and his pro licence by the age of 33. So to do all that quite young, he's done quite well, actually. A very academy-focused coach is Harry Watling. 3 quite reputable teams. Chelsea, he was with Chelsea from 2009 to 2014. He's brought through and coached some really decent prospects at Chelsea. You might have heard of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. You know, not doing too bad at AC Milan. He was one of the academy products that Harry Watling would have been bringing through. Christensen, Andreas Christensen, the centre back who's at Barcelona, he would have had spells with Mason Mount, and for any of the Football Manager fans, Oli Musonda. It was a player who obviously his career was dampened with injuries, but he was one who was meant to have a really big future in the game. He's also worked at Millwall and West Ham, so he would have coached players like Declan Rice. Obviously, he might have even had Declan Rice for that first year, and then when he was at West Ham, would have had Declan Rice later in his career. He too has been a manager, but not within the English football scene. He was a manager at Hartford in the USA, but he only managed a year at Hartford in America. He left due to family reasons, probably being homesick and whatever. So yeah, he did quite well apparently when he was at Hartford. I just did a little bit of research, and apparently he is the opposite of Paul Trott. Thankfully, he's quite an attacking, aggressive, possession style based coach, should we say. He likes to have more possession, dominate the pitch, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's obviously not the manager, but if we're bringing in a more defensive mind coach and the person who is the assistant manager, he's very much like involved with training, according to people from the Middlesbrough camp, and he's the kind of the first team coach. So if we can obviously use his experience and use his mindset into bringing a bit of tactical fluid football going forward, then I would take him very much so, and thankfully he's the one who is confirmed. He's had another stint at Ebbsfleet as well, surely, but he left by mutual consent after 18 games.
I think if he is working with younger players, it's perfect with the transfers that we made in the summer. We need a coach who can work with young players, who's got pedigree to be working with young players, because these young players need someone who's going to know how to get the best out of them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you got the likes of, I mean, it's a shame Rodrigo Gomez has just got injured, because it would have been nice to see what he could have done. But if you got players like Fer Lopez, who were very attacking minded as it is, and Matheus Mane, for example, and people pushing on the fringes as well of the first team from the youth setup, if you've got an attacking minded coach who's going to be able to coach those players into better positions and taking a better position on the pitch and driving through and hopefully creating different chances and occupying different areas on the pitch to what they used to, then that could be something that we really need, to be honest. He's had another couple of clubs where he has been assistant manager as well. Like I say, he was obviously with Rob Edwards at Middlesbrough earlier on. But do you remember our old friend Michael Bill? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was a first team coach under Michael Beale at Queen's Park Rangers, and subsequently followed him also to Rangers before he took a managerial role at Ebbsfleet, which obviously didn't last too long. And then, like I say, in June 2025 is when he's joined Middlesbrough. So he's only had a short career at Middlesbrough as well, but they seemed quite gutted to lose him, the Middlesbrough fans. I think they liked him, and they liked the Adi Vivish, is it, or something?
Or that Mount.
Yeah, they were quite well received behind the scenes at Middlesbrough. So, let's hope that this could be a new start for Wolves after quite a torrid start of the season, and let's see if we can bring something else into the game. Is there any players that you think could improve under the new coaches and Rob Edwards' loom?
Well, I think there'll be a lot of players that we don't get. I think, I wouldn't say improve, but I think I'd like to see Joe Gomez not move a lot further forward, but rather than being so deep, just try and win the ball a little bit higher up. He's quite good at winning the ball higher up and then being quite dynamic with it and making that pass. We saw it in the cup when he played for Tolu and he scored that goal. I'd like to see that. I think every Wolves fan is going to hope that he can get Fer Lopez and find a position for Fer Lopez, find a team and a place in that setup where he can just play with a bit of freedom. When he was manager of Luton, he had Ross Barkley, who was playing in centre midfield. He was quite a freedomish type of player when he got on the balls. Rob Edwards has worked with these players in these areas. I'd like to see Fer Lopez be given a chance, like I think every other Wolves fan would do. I think as well. I think the other one is John Arias. So I'd probably say I can't pick two out of the three. I'd want to see all three of them have that bit of positivity. I think you need Joe Gomez winning every game. I think Fer Lopez needs to play, and Arias needs to show us what he can do, because at the moment he hasn't.
I think John Arias is one who obviously for his own sake, needs to really revitalise his career and especially his Wolves career because he hasn't done a lot at the moment. But with Rob Edwards using wing play quite often, I know obviously that's from wing backs in general. We've got to hope maybe he can show him a different style of football as to what he was learning under Vitor Pereira, or maybe picking up different positions on the pitch to influence play. Because we've seen it in videos before, and he wasn't in the FIFA Club World Cup team of the year for nothing, was he? So, like, he's a good pedigree of player, and he's crosses. I mentioned to you when we were signing him, like, everything he was doing at Fluminense, the balls into the box were superb, and we just haven't seen enough of it yet. So maybe with Rob Edwards being so demanding in the way that Wolves get balls into the box, or potentially what we think will happen, maybe John Arias is someone who can have a positive impact.
What about you? What's your players?
Yeah, I've got to. I think this boy, fans probably thinking he's had a really decent start to the season. I think Hugo Bueno might be one that Rob Edwards will like to bring to, and Harry Watling to be honest, with a mix of all three managers. I think Hugo Bueno leaves a lot to be desired defensively, because I think it's one of those where when we were fans looking at Ryan Aït-Nouri, we always said, oh, he's brilliant at going forward, but he's crap going back. And I think we kind of took him for granted a little bit, because the more I watch Hugo Bueno, I like him as a footballer, but I definitely think he's a player who's far better offensively than what he is defensively. I think, he leaves gaps far too often. I think bringing in these three different coaches / manager, obviously with Rob Edwards, I think it might help him pick up better positions when we're in a defensive transition and going forward. And like I say, we're going to be a team that probably gets balls into the box. We've got two tall strikers who aren't going to be afraid to head the ball. Hugo Bueno's got a brilliant cross on him. We've said it for ages. I don't think we've seen enough of it this season, and I think he might be one player who Rob Edwards might be able to get the best out of. And he will have worked with him previously before as well in his time when he was the under-23s coach, so they'll know everything what Hugo Bueno's about. And to be honest, I was very surprised that maybe Rob Edwards didn't take a look at him over Ryan Giles when he was at Luton. But then again, Ryan Giles had got good championship experience at that point as well, so maybe that was a reason for it. I think my second player would probably be Andre. And I know that's probably going to get some people's backs up, but realistically, this season, despite those two probably still being our best players, I think there's a lot more that Andre can do. I think he dictates games so well. He reads the game so well. And he has done that this season, but I think there's a couple of times where he's been guilty of either not getting rid of the ball quickly enough or not being proactive in getting to the edge of the box and stopping shots. And I think it's, we obviously know that there's been tension behind the scenes with Pereira and Andre for a little bit. And maybe this is something where a new manager breathes a bit of confidence within the players and galvanises them a little bit. And maybe Andre can be one who does feel the effects of that and maybe just needs a little bit of an arm around the shoulder. I think we still have to realise he's only been in the country for a year. He's still going to be adapting to English culture at this stage. And hopefully he could be someone who has a better second half of the season and really brings the game to the opposition. And I think he's got a good passing range. I really do. And I'd like to see him splitting through defending passes as well, if I'm being honest. So let's see. I think it's all on Rob and his staff who he brings in. But let's see what Wolves can do. We've got to be positive about the situation, because at the moment we're in dire straits. We are so far adrift. But we just need to get beyond Rob Edwards, I think, and get beyond his coaches and see how far we can push this team.
Just touching back on what you said about Andre, I totally agree. I just think for Andre, when he has the ball, I think he needs players who we can see in front of him that he's confident enough to give the ball to. I don't think that against Chelsea especially, I don't think he was confident to give it to Bellegarde and Chan. So you need them attackers on the pitch where Andre is going to be able to be confident enough to give that ball to them without them having to give it away straight away.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should probably reroute ourselves back to John Arias, Liam. There was obviously reports earlier in the week coming from a Brazilian source. We don't know how good the source is, to be fair, but we'll see, and only time will tell in the future. But there's reports that John Arias is potentially looking to move away from Wolves. He's not settling well. He hasn't adapted to the country very well. He hasn't adapted to the English game very well. It's said that he wants to find a move within Europe, but won't completely cut ties with Brazil. And I think Flamengo are the team who heavily interested in the winger at the minute. What's your take on it, Liam?
Well, I think at the moment we can't afford to have anybody in the group who don't want to be here. So in January, if that's the case where we don't want to play for Wolves, then for me, get him out straight away. I don't think we've seen anything of him that we thought we'd see of him. Forward to the last international break, I'm sure we stayed behind, didn't he? That was quite good to see a player actually staying behind to try and get up to speed with, being here at Wolverhampton. But if you ain't feeling it, you can't have players on half-hearted when you in a battle to stay up. So I think he's got the quality to keep us up when we actually see, because we haven't seen a slight bit of it yet. But again, that's on him. If he don't want to do it, he's not going to do it, is he? So if there is reports now about him maybe going back home or moving on, firstly, I don't think he's granted another European move because he hasn't done it for us. So why should he go and move and play in La Liga or Serie A? And number two, if he does go back home, then I'd rather him go in January and then see out the season and not perform.
I agree. I think we obviously have to look at the way that January is going to go. We physically can't register any more foreign players. It could be a very quick Wolves career for John Arias. Obviously, we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes or if he even is remotely homesick. But if there is a slight hint of lack of passion and lack of energy, then I think Rob Edwards would probably have to get him out the door. I think this January could be, dare I say, it could be really exciting for Wolves because we've got no choice but to sell some non-home ground players, should I say. Because quite literally, we can't register anybody else. We had to lose Sasha on loan in the summer to register, is it Tolu, I believe. So we're going to have to make way within some space within the team. And I think your players with your likes of Hwanki Chan, Agbadu could potentially be there. Marshall Mendes is probably, I think he's our top goal scorer this season, isn't he? But if Rob Edwards takes a look at him and doesn't fancy him, he might be pushing for him to get a move. John Arias, what we've said. Bellegarde is probably not Premier League quality. I think there's a good 5 or 6 players there. And I think Fosun just have to, they have to admit that they were wrong. They're going to lose money on these players. I mean, to be honest, 15 million Great British pounds for Marshall Monetsi was probably one of the biggest wastes of money that we're going to spend anyway. Technical ability wise, you don't want to be paying that much money for a player who's a runner, essentially. I mean, even Agbadu was absolutely superb. I mean, you've got a stance to say he may have kept us up last year, so maybe the 15 million pound was worth it. Maybe the same as Marshall Monetsi, but we've got no technical ability on the pitch, so we're obviously going to have to get some homegrown players, first of all. We're going to have to go and get some in and some with decent enough quality to be able to withstand the Premier League quality.
That don't come cheap now, does it?
No. And I mean, to be fair, you've cut ties with Middlesbrough there, ain't you? So you ain't going to go and get Hayden Hatley like you thought you was on transfer deadline day. And again, there's some good players in the Championship, and we're not going to be able to take advantage. I really like Imran Loser from Watford, but I don't think Wolves will spend the money that Watford will probably want.
I think we could try and be a little bit smart and see that World Cup's approaching and try and get a player or two on loan that's going to bring a load of quality into the team. That's going to probably play week in, week out just to get that one of games. If you look at Raheem Sterling that hasn't played this year, could be looking at it as if I've got a very small chance, but I've got to make the right move. I've got to play every week. Raheem's losing, just score goals.
Jack Grealish should have done the same.
Yeah.
I think we have to. We're obviously going to look at parts of the Championship market as well.
Yeah. Other than Sterling, I think another player would be James Trafford. I think he could be wanting to get a bit of game time there. Donnarumma was number 1 at Man City. Jose Sarr could potentially be the one moved on. Then you've got competition for Sam Johnson, and you've got a keeper in on loan who's probably going to try and push for that World Cup spot.
I agree. I like the idea of maybe James Trafford. I think Burnley aren't going to want a keeper because Dubravka's been brilliant for them, and Leeds have signed a new keeper. We've been after one for years, reportedly, and I think James Trafford's a brilliant show. To be honest, I could see maybe a loan, like I say, a loan deal, no option to buy. I don't think Manchester City would want to sell him. He's part of one of their club homegrown players, so he's unfortunately, unless he starts to push through and move elsewhere permanently, I don't think he'll be getting that move anytime soon. He's not a bad shape. Do you know what? People are probably going to laugh, but Ross Barkley's only got 6 months left on his Villa deal. I don't think he's a great player by any stretch of the imagination, but as a good squad player and someone who comparisons to the way that Cunha plays, where he'd drop deep, he'd get the ball, he'd drive forward, and he'd look for spaces out wide to pass the ball into. He's someone that Wolves could potentially look at. With only 6 months left on his contract, he could be quite cheap.
Especially if already working with Rob Edwards at Luton as well. So
Yeah.
that'd be the must-read move. There is a few homegrown players out there that you can probably get in January just to have a bit of game time.
Yeah. To be honest, I am mortified that we won't be able to go and get Hayden Hackney because I've been following him for so long now and I think he's such a good player. I'm devastated. I know Nathan Russell, who came on the podcast in pre-season, he was one of the players mentioned was Hayden Hackney, and we both absolutely agreed. We think he's got such a bright future ahead of him. Would have been interesting to see if he could have got a move to Wolves, but I think he's probably going to be looking further up the table than Wolves now, unless we somehow perform a miracle and Middlesbrough don't hate us next season. But I can't imagine that's going to be the case. Yeah, so I think it's interesting to think about January and what's coming up, and obviously we've got a hard fixture list before then. And to be honest, we're going to have to get some points on the table before we even consider January, because a lot of the players who we're going to be interested in won't even take a look at us in the position that we're in at this moment in time. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting few weeks ahead with Palace and Forest, Villa, and Man United aren't world beaters. We could definitely beat Manchester United on our day. Shall we have a little game then?
Yeah, go on, let's go.
We've changed it up a little bit. We've gone away from career path for today's episode, haven't we? And we're going to try and play a little game of guess the player. See, as you were so good at career path, I think I might let you go first, to be honest, mate, because if it makes you look stupid, I'll be happy.
I hate this game.
You hate this game?
Yeah.
Just for anyone who's not aware, Liam will have 60 seconds. He can ask me as many questions as he wants. We've both picked a player who's played for Wolves previously. He can ask whatever questions he wants to try and decipher which player I've picked for him. Your time starting then.
So did he play for Nuno?
Very, very briefly.
So in that championship team,
He was.
so that would have been under Paul Lambert.
One of his managers was Paul Lambert.
Bodvarsson?
No,
Zio. So he's a striker.
he's a striker.
Brighton Akbakari?
No,
Paul Gladden?
no.
Has he played in England before?
Has he what? Sorry.
Has he played in England before?
Yes.
Has he played in the Premier League?
Yeah, I don't think so. But he
played for
may
the
have
Championship
one
team?
season. He played in Championship team.
Joe Mason?
No,
Is he English?
no,
Is he British?
no,
Is he like Portuguese or Spanish?
no.
Gosh. Is he African?
Yes.
He's African. African striker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Before do you know?
20 seconds left.
Before do you know? That Brighton Academy.
He was a fan favourite. I'll give you that.
Fan favourite.
Mm-hmm.
If I'll get him. Oh man, this is absolute shambles.
7 seconds left.
Yubadiko.
No, he can't.
Don't play for Nuno, did he?
He played very, very. That's what I said. Very, very briefly under Nuno. I've got it.
Man.
He pretty much came in under Nuno and then was sold by Nuno.
Man, what's Nuno doing? Getting sacked.
Nuno was the one who got rid of my precious Nuadico, and I can't believe it took you so long to get him.
I was glad I guessed him, to be honest here.
With 3 seconds left. So we had a minute and a half to answer these questions. I
Okay.
with a minute and a half rather than a minute.
So you're going to guess my player, yeah?
I'm going to try.
Ready? Go.
Go. Is he a striker?
Yeah.
I fly well, that was good. Did he play for Wolves between 2015 and present?
No.
So before that. Did he play for Wolves between 2010 and 15?
No.
God, I'm going to go right back in the day. Is he English?
No.
Is he British?
No.
Is he Australian? Is he? Oh no. So is he from Ireland way? Sort of.
Yeah.
Is he blonde?
Yeah.
I think I've got him. 41 seconds. Is it Andrew Keir?
Yeah.
I don't know how I've managed to get that. So just one player I thought I had in my head. Do you know what, Lynn? Don't need a minute and a half, mate. Don't need a minute and a half. 37 seconds is all it took for me to get Andrew Keogh. Liam, are you ready for another go?
No.
Let's hope you can manage to get it with a minute and a half this time. I mean, to be fair, Dico, can't believe that. Fan favourite. And you're like, what? Who's a fan favourite? Are you ready, mate? Yeah. Sorry. Starts in 3, 2.
Okay. Did he play under Nuno?
He did.
Did he play in the Premier League?
He did.
Defender?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Midfielder?
Mm-hmm.
English?
Nope.
Oh,
Any
that's good.
questions? He's played in the 3 managers in a Wolves career.
Is he still here now?
No.
Is he still playing?
Yes.
Dendonka?
Nope.
He's a midfielder still playing. Did he play centre mid or
Nope.
so he's on the wing?
Mm-hmm.
Did he play for another English club?
He has.
Elder Costa?
Nope.
Is he going to be someone who's like quite known or?
Yep.
Cavallero
Nope. He's also played under Bruno Lage and Julian Lopetegui
on our wing.
on our wing. 20 seconds left. Go on. You can run. This is easy.
I'm crumbling here under pressure. I ain't gonna do it. Let me think.
Just chuck some wingers out. You got 10 seconds. Wingers who've played for Wolves.
Otter.
No. Keep going.
Wingers right.
No. Wingers.
Right, I this game.
1 minute and 55 seconds to get that in. I thought that one would have been easy. Oh, no. You better than that. You better than that. Right. I'm ready, mate. Yeah. Have you got your player up?
Let me have a look. Yeah, I got him.
All right. And I'm going to start my timer in 3, 2, 1. Is he at the club now?
No.
Did he play for Wolves in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Did he play for Wolves in League One?
No.
Did he play for Wolves in the Championship?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he play in the Nuno?
Brief.
So he played in the Kenny Jacket the most.
Paul Lambert signed him.
Is he a defender?
No. He could, but no.
So he's a midfielder? A central midfielder? No.
No.
Has he played at right back for us?
I think like his main position was on the wing, but he could flip to back, yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's a winger.
Yeah.
Crap. Okay. God, I've done 50 seconds. Is he English?
Yes.
Yes. Jed Wallace.
No.
Wingers who played for Adam Hamill. No, probably a bit too
No.
low. I'm going to go for the full 2 minutes like you, so let's go with...
This is probably a hard one, to be honest.
Did he play many first team appearances?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
Did he play for many other English teams?
he played for loads.
Loads. It's not Jermaine Pennant.
No. He's way earlier than that. Paul Lambert signed him.
And
He actually assisted Nuidica when we beat Leeds 1-0 to stay up in the Championship.
dangerous Dave Edwards.
Right winger. He's playing
Right-
for everyone.
Right
Still
wing-
plays now, but that would throw you off because he plays like non-league football now.
Adam Hamill.
Now,
I'll finish my... I've done my 2 minutes. I've tried.
have one more guess. I'll give you one clue. We signed him from Blackburn.
Ben Marshall.
Yeah.
Ben Marshall of all the players.
That game's hard, man, because you've got so many names that it's sort of like floating around your head.
Unbelievable. I'm fuming with that.
So many people get our picks. How does it not get Dicko? I don't care, mate. Try away.
Dickett was in one I'm very shocked at, but I can't.
Dicko, absolute legend.
He's smashing it at the minute in France. He's
Do
doing
you know
it.
what? When you was talking about going back, we've been under this Nuno era for so long. To think back past that Nuno era, I'm like it was really like, whoa.
Right, but you could go way back with this game.
Yeah. So many years we watched Wolves when we got back to the Championship under Kenny Jackett. Once he went,
Yeah.
it was like that, weren't it? Until we got took over.
Yeah. That Nuno era will never be topped. Despite Kenny Jackett's brilliant League One too.
Oh, what a legend Kenny Jackett is.
What a legend. I think that would... So thank you to everyone for listening. I hope you've enjoyed that, especially the game of what was meant to be 60 seconds, but we turned it into 2 minutes because we're all... No, I hope we'll give you enough of an insight into Harry Watling and Paul Trollope and maybe some players who we think that Rob Edwards might be able to get the better out of. I've enjoyed that, Liam. Thank you very much for coming on, mate.
I know. I appreciate you asking me. Thanks.
It's all right, man. We hope to bring you a lot more content in the future as well. If you have YouTube, if you've got an account, please go over, like, subscribe, share our page. Make sure you get the notification bell on as well so you know when we have uploaded. We're on TikTok, we're on Twitter, Facebook. If you've ever got anything that you want to message us, feel free. The messages are always open. Thank you all for tuning in. The sport's been brilliant, especially over the last couple of weeks as well. We know it's tough times at the Wolves at the minute, but we like to engage with everyone and we hope you're enjoying the content as well. Any feedback, let us know and we shall see you next week. Peace out.